These days, it's the talk of TikTok.
I just start dropping pounds left and right.
The topic Ozempic has over 300 million views.
Being on this medication has helped me tremendously with my health.
With scores of users crediting the drug for their weight loss success. Ozempic is a drug you inject that's meant to improve blood sugar and help manage type 2 diabetes. But because one of the side effects is weight loss, many are using it off-label, a trend that may have started in Hollywood.
A trend that may have started in Hollywood, but it is spreading all across the country, including in places like social media platforms where certain influencers who put out content on body positivity and they say this, fat acceptance, they're being targeted by marketers to basically go on Ozempic and market the product to their followers. And some are going with it and losing some followers, but justifying it by saying, look, I wanna feel good about myself, and if this is gonna help me do that, then I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Now, pharmaceutical companies that manufacture Ozempic or Ozempic-like injections have reached out to the body positivity influencer / activist, Virgie, I believe her name is, Tovar, to promote the drug, but she's not taking the bait. So she posted about this on Instagram with a picture featuring her holding a sign saying, I don't want Ozempic. And in the caption, she says, throughout 2023 and now in 2024, I have been offered free Ozempic for weight loss by influencer marketing companies and others. I know I'm not the only one. Ozempic is not something that every larger bodied person wants. And I also just want to note that influencers are not credentialed experts on these types of matters. And so I feel super uncomfortable with any influencer or content creator promoting the use of a pharmaceutical drug to be used off-label to lose weight, especially since we don't know what the long-term impact of this is gonna be on people's bodies.
We might have millions of people watching this show, but you can be the difference maker because we just need 1% of our audience to be paid members, and then this show can be around forever. So you can make that difference. Click join now.
Exactly, and we have a good idea of what the short-term financial impact of using it will be. No, it's definitely not the sort of thing that they should be pushing. I mean, it was weird enough when all of a sudden virtually everybody who works on an Instagram was trying to get you to drink that tea that gives you diarrhea, but
oh my God, that's
now
still there.
For it to be literal injections just seems so weird. Yeah, the way that they're trying to advertise this seems so weird. Like I had to remember that, like, theoretically we associate, like, if you think of a body positive influencer, we think of a person who is trying to make people less stigmatized who are larger. So it seems like that's exactly the sort of person it seems like you would not try to advertise through, but that isn't necessarily what all of those influencers are about. They theoretically could be about being comfortable with whatever your body is, including if you're taking Ozempic. But specifically if it's like fat positivity or like fat acceptance influencers, it seems really messed up to be reaching out to those people and be like, oh, I see what you do, your brand, but what about this instead? That seems so weird.
What's really interesting though is the Washington Post, which penned a lengthy piece on this, talked about some of the fat acceptance activists taking the marketers up on this offer.
It's really expensive, and if it's being offered free, some people might. If that's the way that you can get it, I guess. But
yeah, and also okay. Let's keep going. So the other thing that came up in this piece that I thought was concerning is that med spas are starting to offer it. So med spa is where you go to get your Botox and your fillers and whatever other device melts the fat off your belly or whatever. There's like all sorts of things, like services that they provide at med spas that's meant for beauty purposes. Mm-hmm. And now they're offering and marketing Ozempic and Wegovy. Wegovy is another one of these. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good idea. Like this isn't a joke. Like this is a serious pharmaceutical drug. Like what are we doing?
Is it not a prescription only thing?
It is. So I'm guessing they might have like a dermatologist or some sort of doctor on staff who can write the prescriptions, but it
seems inevitable.
It just seems like people are treating that. I don't know. Do I sound like a cranky old lady right now. I'm just worried about what people are doing to themselves.
Look, I think there's been at least several decades of fen-phen, and I mean, we can mention any number of different like herbal supplements and stuff like that. Well, there you go. There's a lot of things that people are like, wait, this could potentially work. And the thing is, for the most part, they didn't do anything, and yet people were so desperate. They're like, I gotta take that.
Did something.
Okay, well, I can't attest to fen-phen. I've never had either fen nor fen.
I never took it. Just to be clear, I was way too young by the time they outlawed it.
Yeah. You just had like a poster of it in your bedroom. Apparently, you're worshiping it. But in this case, supposedly for a lot of people, it does work. And the only downside is that it is wildly expensive, and also it might have other side effects that we don't know about. But we don't know about those yet. So why don't we just rush and use it right now?
Yeah, look, listen.
I understand why so many people are hot to use it. I think there should be a lot more caution.
No, of course I understand. I totally understand. I mean, I would be super tempted to do this, right? To just take the leap and take the risk.
You're an influencer.
I would never, okay, but here's the difference. I don't even like doing the very few live reads that I'm asked to do on the show. Like, I hate advertising things. It's like pulling teeth for me. I hate it, I can't stand it. I don't even like promoting my own work. I'm really bad at that. But the idea that in America, advertisements for pharmaceutical drugs should be thrown at you constantly, and now they're being thrown at you by literal content creators on like Instagram and TikTok, that's insane.
Yeah.
That needs to be regulated and honestly outlawed.
Yeah.
Okay, because the only time you should hear about Ozempic is if you're at your doctor's office and your doctor recommends that. Okay?
Because of the kickback that your doctor gets for getting you to take it.
No, listen, the system's broken. I totally get it. And yes, there are kickbacks and all sorts of disgusting, corrupt things happening in the medical industry. However, I'd rather that conversation take place between a patient and a doctor as opposed to an influencer. A freaking influencer? 100%. Now we have influencers selling pharmaceutical drugs to people?
The last thing I'll say is thank God that there are a lot of restrictions on these apps so that kids aren't seeing these influencers. Because can you imagine if kids were seeing that? Which they definitely are, and that's gonna be the next Washington Post expose, is Ozempic taking over high schools. Watch.
Disaster, total disaster.
Thanks for watching. If you become a member, you get to watch all this ad-free, except for, of course, this ad. Still, hit the join button below.